This will be a fun one today. It's time for What's Hot, where we talk about the stories that have us all talking.
Today we're joined by Susie Falk from the Falk Group Public Relations, and Jeff Wagner is back with us.
It's always fun when Susie Falk is
It's
here.
a blast.
American Airlines wants to make seating even tighter on some flights. They're adding more seats to some of the planes. That means you're going to have less leg room. American officials say they are trying to match the number of seats with travel demands. Is this really a smart move for the airline? I'm like 5'11". If they take any more legroom away, I'll probably be in trouble.
And we could crack all kinds of jokes. I honestly don't know how they could possibly put any more seats on these planes, though. And I'm 5'7½", and my knees hit the front of the seats at American Airlines and Delta and some of the others. And honestly, they're going to have to start passing out referrals to rheumatologists and orthopedic surgeons, because I just
people standing in the back because they can't fit in their seats if they're like 6'6".
It's not healthy.
Well,
folks.
okay, there is going to be a time in the not too distant future where if you really want to sound like a fossil, you will be telling people about the days of Midwest Airlines.
I was just about to say that.
Leather, two across
Fine
leather
china
seats. They'd
and
serve you steak or lobster.
Champagne on the
breakfast.
breakfast flights.
Was it really that long ago?
It'll be like talking about
Seriously.
payphones.
No, it was 2000, 2001, wasn't it? Right around that time?
Well, yeah, but I mean, you're right. I mean, actually, it's amazing just how a little bit, makes such a difference. I fly a lot on Southwest now, and maybe it's just my idea. I think there's a little bit more room on the Southwest seats than when I was flying Delta, and just even that couple inches when you're, I'm 6'1" and a little bit heavier than both you ladies, and it's like you're crammed in there. It's just amazing.
So bad idea, Jeff?
Well, but it's economics. I mean, it's just the reality.
They're just trying to make flying the most miserable experience ever.
Well, to the extent there was ever any cachet about air travel, it's gone. I mean, it's like
you do it because you have to.
Yeah, it's like the trailways of the sky.
Yeah.
I mean, that's just the reality.
I'm going to put this out in the universe right now. Virgin Airlines, come to Milwaukee. We will fly you.
Now more of What's Hot.
Again, we are joined by Susie Falk, who's classing up the joint on this Monday, and then as always, we got Jeff Wagner here too. New England Patriots owner Robert Kraft says he wants his Super Bowl ring back. 8 years ago, Kraft gave Russian President Vladimir Putin his ring to look at. Now he says Putin's walked off with it. He stole the thing. Putin put on the ring and kept it during a business meeting in 2008. Now, did Kraft give him this as a gift? He says no. And Kraft apparently even got a phone call from somebody in the administration back in 2008 saying it would be better for international relationships if this were a gift. And that was the insistent line. It would be best for international relations, Mr. Kraft, if that was a gift.
It sounds kind of mafia-like, doesn't it?
Yeah, see, I think this is one of these folklore things. This is something, apparently, like in his after-dinner speeches, this is a story that Kraft has been telling for years and years. And finally, somebody just started to pick up on it and see, is this an international incident? My guess is, and I think a lot of witnesses describe this as, it really was a gift. Because, like, even a 25 grand ring, that's nothing to somebody as rich as Robert Kraft. I think this has just been a story that he's been telling to get like laughs, and now all of a sudden it's kind of like blown up.
And you mix a little alcohol in there too. It was at a good Carnegie black tie gala event and after dinner, and he's receiving some sort of award, and I'm guessing he may have had a drink or two. So, people tend to embellish stories, and he probably did, and now he probably maybe regrets it.
Isn't it cooler just to say, though, that he met with Putin and he gave it as a gift?
Well, yeah.
That's a much better story.
Well, you would think, but I think, you kind of get a laugh if this is like an after-dinner thing, because I think that's what really did happen. He met with Putin, and he's at this thing, and here, have one of these rings. Because again, I mean, I wouldn't give away a $25,000 ring.
See, but that's not the version of the story that I read. They were talking, takes his ring off, hands it to Putin to show him the ring. Putin puts it on. 3 of Putin's goons surround him. They leave the room, and Kraft is like, my ring, where'd my ring go?
That's his story. That's not what witnesses that I saw say.
Okay.
Well, and it could be a lost in
awkward.
Translation, a cultural translation thing too. Maybe Putin assumed it was a gift and takes off. They've got more important things to do than try on jewelry, I imagine. So
I've had occasion to try on the World Series ring a couple of times, and let me tell you, the owner of that ring
was on you.
Was right on me.
Your 3 seconds are up. Give me the ring. In our final What's Hot today, Green Bay Packers Donald Driver says he is willing to make a comeback to pro football, but only to put on the green and gold. He suggested during yesterday's Packers charity softball game he would be open to an in-season return should he come back to the field.
Someone's missing the game.
It's so funny. All these athletes retire. They say, I'm done, and then
But it's your life for decades.
It's a hard transition. I get it.
It's like retirement for anybody. I mean, what do? You're searching for that next thing, and maybe he hasn't quite figured it out, and he's floating a trial balloon to see if people want him back. And
the problem is they retire so early
yeah,
because of the nature of the sport. You're not like 65.
Right, but at this point in time, first of all, credit to Donald Driver for not saying, "Hey, I want to go to Minnesota and catch passes." So,
or
like
New York.
Somebody else, or New York. So I mean, credit to that. I think the reality though is that the Packers sort of have moved on, and I'm glad that Donald is going to continue to be part of the Packer family. I'm glad if he was going to make a comeback, it would be with the Packers. But I think it's time to move on.
How about as a coach, some sort of a coach? Kind of what Craig Counsell did for the Brewers. It would be great. He's a terrific leader. People respect him. He had so much charisma and personality to the team. I'd love to see the Packers carve out a role for Donald.
You just wonder, though, if the guys who are the really premier athletes like Donald Driver, a lot of them, not all of them, but a lot of them, being a coach doesn't really have the interest to them. And it's also, if you're so talented you can do these things, sometimes I think it's frustrating trying to coach people who aren't as talented as you are.
Well, let's hope he finds a spot that makes him happy.
Great player.
Thank you both. We'll take a quick break.
pleasure.
We'll be right back.